What's going on? I'm Reece Ratliff. I'm an artist, songwriter, and producer, and a member of Adam's private mentorship group, the Billboard 500 Club. You're here on the Music Industry Contact YouTube channel, where we do in-depth breakdowns of hit songs. In today's video, I'm going to be analyzing Basquiat by Pentagon. If you didn't already know, we can't monetize these videos here, so our Patreon Golden Ear community means the world to us. Over on Patreon, we have more exclusive content only found there, including early access to videos and polls so that you can help us choose the next song to break down. If you've been supporting our channel over on Patreon, we just want to say thank you so much for the support. If you haven't yet, click the link in the description box below to join us over there. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Look at my toes. 난 푹뜬 눈으로 부르짖어라. 사유의 나에게 대지를 가르는 one shot. All do or die. 좌우로 발맞춰 정지의 우려 퍼지는 함성. 스스로 묶인 채 숨죽이며 흘린 눈물. 그 안에 모든 슬픔이 검은 어둠이 제가 되어 흩날리네.
Whoa, this is super cool. So they start with that chant right off the top, that oh, I want to hear your voice. That's really cool. Do that a couple times to establish the hook, and they're really drilling that minor root. Let's see what that is. B minor. So they're really drilling that minor root. So just to break it down, because they do, it seems, switch modes throughout the course of this song, from that minor feel to a major feel in the pre, and I assume somewhere in the rest of the song. When we have a minor chord, we have a minor third, da, da. When we have a major chord, da, da, we have a major third. And then there's a fifth in both of those as well, but the fundamental minor third, major third. So a little bit brighter, a little bit happier sounding. So right off the top, they're really drilling the minor. So, oh, I want to hear your voice. Then they walk it up, da, 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 in that bass line. Let's see. There, they completely cut out that bass for a second and they bring it up to that high-pitched drill sound. So what they're doing there, they're introducing a moment of complete contrast between the lows and low mids of that bass and drum, where it's really heavy in the beginning, and then it pulls out something that completely pulls the ear in a different direction and just kind of, gets you ready to know that there's going to be another section coming in. So they dive into the verse, and I believe they keep that same bass line, the da, 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 da. Look at my touch. 난 푹뜬 눈으로 부르짖어 louder. Louder, same thing. I'll play that back. Total pattern interrupt. Da, 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 louder. 흩날리는 깃발. Look at my touch. 난 푹뜬 눈으로 부르짖어 louder. 사유의 나에게 대지를 가르는 one shot. All do or die. They do something else really cool there where, especially in a genre like K-pop, where you have a mix of multiple languages, they bring in a gunshot after the word shot, which, that's a sound that no matter where you are in the world is instantly recognizable. And it just further reinforces what they're saying. I don't personally speak Korean. I'm not sure what all of the lyrics are saying here, but can definitely tell what the feeling and the emotion is based on the couple words that I do understand and, the feel of the track and that sound effect. All right, let's keep going. Oh, cool. So here they take that bass line and instead of playing it on the bass again, they play it on a guitar, it sounds like. So it's an octave up. It's a little bit of a thinner tone. It's not that dum 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 dum. They cut everything. They bring it down to just drums. And they got that, pretty simple kick snare pattern going the whole verse. So they bring it down to just drums, and then they bring in that kind of cascading string line, or I guess it's a synth it sounds like, but made it sound like a string. And then they take it completely left field. They switch from the minor feel, that modal minor, to what would be the relative major, D major. So in a key, say we're in D major, D would be the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that 6 ends up being the B, the root of what we call the relative minor. So we start out in the relative minor, B minor, really, driving that home. And then when we get to the pre here, they take it to, let me listen back and see if I can. It's a really interesting progression there. So they take it from the B minor. Sounds like they go to what would be the 4 chord in that B minor scale, the E minor, and I think they play E minor 7. But the E, because it's a note above D, ends up being the 2 chord in that D major scale. So if we're looking at the numerical chord progression, it would be 2, goes to the 5, the dominant, which is typically a tension point. To the root, they resolve it. And then I believe they take it down to the 6 with, it sounds like there's another non-chordal tone in there, but think so I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but it sounds to me like it's a 6 chord with a 2, the second note of that 6th chord tucked in there. So da 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 da. And then they take it to the C major, which would be the 7 chord, the major 7 chord in that D major scale. So because it would be the major 7 and it's a whole step below, that would be not a typical chord to go to in most pop music. Typically when you have a major key, you'll go to the note, we call it the leading tone. It's right below that root. So D, that da da da, directly below. But it sounds like they take it a half step lower and then they raise it to that diminished 7 chord, which is a little bit more typical in Western classical music. Yeah. So this is fascinating. They go 7, flat 7, diminished 7 on that natural 7, and then the tension point before they drop into the hook is the major voicing of the same note, a chord based off of the same note that we started the song on, but instead of that minor, it's the major feel. And then, if I'm not mistaken, so they drop it from major right back into the minor. So rather than, going down to, say, the dominant in that minor key, which would be an F sharp, again, the 5, the dominant typically creates that tension point. They use what's called the parallel major, B major, and then drop back into B minor. So super interesting chord progression there. It's definitely reminiscent of, I would say, more, Western classical music. Almost kind of, some jazz chords with some of the voicings they're playing in there. But yeah, just super interesting progression. My music theory brain was going crazy for that one. But then they drop it back into the chorus and immediately hit that title on the root of the minor key. So da, 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 da. Establish that, hit you right in the face with it. That's, the title. Obviously, they want to make it the most prominent part and definitely drive that home. So let's listen to that chorus, see what they're doing. So cool little drum roll up into that, and then total detour, again, pattern interrupt to signify that next section. But I want to take it back to the start of the chorus. So they hit the root. The bass is playing. So it would be 6, 5, 2, 3. Da, 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 da. Little bit more of, I would say, a common chord progression in a track like this. you have that root starting off, walks it down, kind of bring the feel down a little bit, and then get to the dominant from below. So it builds up. So again, they have downward movement and then upward movement in that bass line. Super subtle, but just, the contrast of moving in different directions is something that definitely keeps your ear intrigued. And then on that third line, the da 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 melody, they start on what would be the major third up from that B. So even while they're playing this minor progression, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. It's such a cool rub because you would, typically not hear that note in the scale, but these guys definitely are playing with a lot of cool theory behind the scenes here. All right, so let's listen to that. Last one too.
We never die, yeah. 씨앗한 나로 꽃을 피운 날기에 세상이란 던져 날 이곳에 던져 새치 수많은 밤. Breath.
That's such a cool, like almost romantic period little movement there. Oh, super cool. So in this verse, they pared back the production a little bit. Sounds like it's just.
We never die, yeah. 씨앗한 나로 꽃을 피운 날기에 세상이란 던져 날 이곳에 던져.
Notice how they're punctuating that da 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 with the drum hits too, just to further reinforce the rhythmic motif of that. But yeah, I mean, really simple. They're just, driving the root note. In verse 1, they were driving the root note and singing a melody that was, I believe, mostly in that minor mode, that minor scale. Here, they're pedaling back and forth between the 4 and the 3 in what would be B major. So again, a note that you wouldn't typically hear in that major 3, but I love the way they're playing with the juxtaposition between the major and the minor here. Let's listen to that verse.
We never die, yeah. 씨앗한 나로 꽃을 피운 날기에 세상이란 던져 날 이곳에 던져 새치 수많은 밤. Breath.
Also breath, same thing. Breath. Reinforcing a sound that everybody knows and can understand regardless of where they come from. Super cool here too. They kind of have, this is, throughout the whole track, but they use a lot of risers here that are almost like metallic, like gear grinding sounds. Listen closely for. It just kind of, comes up in the background, just something that whether or not you hear it on the first time through, it's that subconscious, like, building of anticipation into the next section. Sometimes that'll be white noise, sometimes it'll be something melodic like this, but just, a common trick with producers to build adrenaline and momentum into that next section.
Breath. 묶인 채 숨죽이며 흐르는 눈물 그 안에 모든 슬픔이 짙은 아픔이 새가 되어 흩날리네 난 새로운 Basquiat 그 녹아는 의미 없는 왕관 Beach boy 다 내려놔 빛나는 대산의 view God bless you 대답을 찾아서 날아올라 sky
It's almost like a whistly kind of synth, playing that in the background to reinforce. Actually, that may have been a vocal. I think it was a voice.
많은 탄식과 기믹의 방식 그리고 당신의 무관심이 날 미치게 만들어놔 우리들을 봐 끝없는 survive 빛나지 않던 게 빛나는 순간
This is a really cool bridge, just pulling everything back to that piano vocal. You know, the rest of the song is super intense, and having this moment to just kind of have that raw piano vocal is really cool.
많은 탄식과 기믹의 방식 그리고 당신의 무관심이 날 미치게 만들어놔 우리들을 봐 끝없는 survive 빛나지 않던 게 빛나는 순간 난 꿈을 꿔도 난 불을 켜 Yeah, lights on
They bring back the melody from the bridge. Right into his tent. Cool. Love that lead vocal over the top. And then that last time through, rather than cutting off the Basquiat, holding it out just a little bit longer to really create that last moment there. Super cool switch up at the end. This is a dope track. I have not heard too much of Pentagon stuff, but these guys are really cool. Love that guitar solo. Love the bridge. Love the really interesting chord progressions. You know, it definitely seems like they know what they're doing. They're building energy and drive in a really cool way. And yeah, really cool track. All right, before we wrap up, just wanted to thank you again for checking out this breakdown of Basquiat by Pentagon. If you're a musician looking to learn more about songwriting, production, or music business and find an incredible network of collaborators, I'd love to invite you to join me in the Billboard 500 Club. It's the best place to be if you're looking to find a community of talented people to create hit songs or mentorship on how to navigate this ever-changing music industry successfully. We have over 70 mentors who are some of the most successful people in the industry teaching up-and-comers just like yourself and myself. Don't wait too long. There's a limited capacity. You can find us over at thebillboard500.com. We'll see you there. One more time, my name is Reece Ratliff. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.
Give me some